So today we are watching Theo tried to warn you. Um, don't know what to expect, so let's get into the vid.
Paranoia is starting to consume Theo Von, and it's getting worse because of this.
I
Oh,
woke up to a text from a high government official saying, hey, if you need some extra security in your neighborhood or some extra police cars on patrol, let me know. What? What are you talking about? You're just going to put police cars in my neighborhood? What are my neighbors going to think? That had me start to get kind of paranoid. And, I had the curtains in my house kind of closed. I was just like,
but
you're paranoid.
why?
See, Theo's realised he's become a target, and the pressure and paranoia from this got so bad that after his recent comedy show bombed, he said something alarming.
I don't know what to tell you about that, man. I'm having a long month. I'm trying not to take my own life. I'm trying not to take my own.
Yeah, I did see this clip. That is sad. I also do have depression and stuff like that. I don't have paranoia, but I will say, I've had some hard times. And a lot of people. I just wanted to mention that.
And all of this resulted in this tense moment on the Joe Rogan show.
How much longer does Israel let us stay alive, do you think? That's the big question.
Why would they?
What did you say? Is that AI?
What are you saying?
That's Sora?
What are you saying?
I didn't say anything.
What are you saying?
Joe Rogan looked genuinely
Well-
concerned for Theo Von,
Yeah, that's crazy to say, but it is weird. I will say this. It is so weird that how much America cares about Israel. Like it's like they basically almost own us. Like, how much money did we give to Israel? Dude, that was billions of dollars. How? Israel, the U.S. has given at least $21.7 billion. $21.7 billion we gave to Israel. That's an absurd amount of money. I'm just gonna say that. Okay. Like, just to give a country, like, I'm just gonna say, like, that is kind of crazy. And how much the politicians are talking about how they really care about Israel. Like, some of these politicians are just glazing Israel. Like, the U.S. cares so much about Israel, and it is a little bit disturbing. I'll say that, to me personally.
and was clearly uncomfortable about this whole situation. Theo goes on to explain this feeling on his podcast, and that's when he reveals that this is something way bigger than you'd expect.
It feels like some people in the world, like some dark and powerful people, know what's going on and they're not telling the rest of us. I don't know if I'm the only person that's feeling that. I feel like they all know something that's happening. It always feels like there's something bigger and eviler.
Who is he?
Some people in the world, like some dark and powerful people, know what's going on and they're not telling the rest of us. I don't know if
I would say that, like, about some of the billionaires, they know some things.
the only person that's feeling that. I feel like they all know something that's happening. It always feels like there's something bigger and eviler, the pinnacle of the horn.
I'll also say it's a little scary to me that so much billionaires are building bunkers, which it kind of feels like they know something that we don't. But also, like, I guess it also could just be they have so much money. Why would you not buy a bunker? You could also think of it that way. But just so much of them are buying bunkers, and it's just like, it's something gonna happen that we don't know? Like,
That is kind of in the distance, hiding behind something that's kind of laughing a little. Or yeah, I don't know, something like that. But I don't know. It used to feel like things were safe somehow.
See, when you look at the people Theo Von talks to, the most powerful people in the world, you instantly realize how intense this situation has become. He's getting exposed to the elite's secrets that carry a huge burden. And with what we've recently learned about what the elites do behind closed doors, one can only assume that Theo Von knows far more than anyone could ever guess.
I would never take my own life. I would never take my own life.
It was just like a lot of threats, and then it felt like nothing was safe.
Okay,
It compounded on my head like, oh, nothing's safe.
I feel like they're doing a lot of bookkeeping in the country right now because we're going to get into a surveillance state and everyone is going to have to be on the books.
And then my mom was visiting and we went to the doctor. She's like, I have something for you. I was like, huh? But then I go outside and I was sitting in my car. My mom was out there with me and then I look up out of the window and there was some young man literally this far from my window with his phone like filming me, and it was just like that was like a tough time where I think I just got kind of paranoid.
But before we continue with this video, there's something happening right now that every serious YouTuber or creator should be paying attention to. You'll notice creators like Theo Von's and many other podcasters and creators have a ton of shorts. A lot of this is helped by AI video that has exploded over the past year, but most of it still suffers from the same two problems. Every scene looks disconnected and the final product isn't something you can actually monetize. It might go viral for a moment, but it doesn't build a brand and it definitely doesn't build a business. That's where Agent Opus's story mode comes in.
Okay, I'm good. I knew this was an ad, but I just wanted to like, where is he going with this? But how does this
Agent Opus's story
brand?
mode is built for creators who want more than flashy clips. You can upload your own audio, whether it's a voice note, podcast segment, or full narration. Then you can choose a custom style or reference image and generate a complete video where that style carries through every single scene. The result isn't just watchable, it's publishable. 16:9 mid-form content designed for serious platforms and real revenue. And what makes this interesting is the control. Instead of fighting with templates that make everything look the same, story mode lets you create videos that are visually recognizable as yours.
Dude, this is just AI slop. What? That's what he's promoting? Get me out of that.
Waiting for a reason to experiment with videos or push your storytelling further, this is it. Story mode is officially live and you can
Story mode. So it's just to create stories for AI. Well, with AI. Not the coolest thing, I'd say.
History is I'll slice your.
He sat down with Theo Von where he described the true nature of the entertainment industry.
Who is this dude? Wait, I missed his name.
Jim Brewer is a legit working comedian who's been around for decades. And
Wow, I've actually never heard of him.
he sat down with Theo Von where he described the true nature of the entertainment industry.
This industry
But
is
he might
I'll
be a good
slice your
comedian.
throat, I'll dance in your blood, and then videotape it and make money off it.
Yeah.
And it's traumatizing is the best word to use it. It lures you in and going, no, I'm here for you. I'm gonna give you some honesty and compassion. And then when you're not looking, he fell for it again. As time went on in Hollywood, I realized it was the most vile, it's soulless.
Yeah. You look to think at some point this thing has to have a heart or some compassion, and it never turns that.
Jim describes the
just
entertainment
talking
industry
about-
as a war he barely survived, something Theo Von is all too familiar with, going on to explain how Hollywood is rigged.
There's always this thing like if you don't, there's like a validation, this invisible validation. You know, it's this Hollywood thing. It's like, oh, if I don't, I could have.
What was that laugh though? Yo. He laughed like a goblin. Maybe that's his actual laugh. But like, if that is, whatever, don't care. But I feel like he
I could be selling tickets.
laughed like a goblin.
But if I'm not on the Tonight Show, man, I'm I don't have that. I haven't been licked by the goose or something,
Theo is hinting at something.
Yeah, which is true, dude. Because, basically what I want to say is, so the higher up you go, this happens to rich people a lot. Like all of a sudden they'll be like, I'm rich and I'm cool and stuff like that. And then they meet someone else because once you get into that space, then you will meet people that are more powerful, more rich than you, and it'll make that person feel more insecure. That's why I feel like why billionaires try to work, they're still working so much even when they're billionaires, because they want to be like just more rich than the other billionaires. Like they're just having a competition. Um also. So it's like that, and then the millionaires, you make a million, you meet someone that makes 10 million, now you want to make 10 million, you feel insecure.
The streams from behind the curtains, building a system that is corrupt to the core.
But there's always this dangle of a
Carrot.
Yeah, and it's a carrot, and I don't even know what it is because, like,
It's vanity.
Is vanity?
It's vanity.
Is it?
You know you want this.
Right.
You know you want this. You're better than so-and-so. You know you're better than so-and-so. You get this, then it'll be worth this.
Yeah.
And then your road will be worth this.
Then Jim just calls it what it is.
Hollywood's a mafia. It's a big, dark mafia.
Yeah, it is.
And then what happens is the mobsters come. They're like, "We understand." Not mobsters like Italian.
Right.
Whatever,
You're talking
whatever
about
gang you want to
the
call it,
attorneys, yeah.
right? And they come along like, "Listen, you sign this, you do some movies there. We'll put this all on the table. We got enough money to make this go away." No one ever brings it up. No one ever brings it up with this person.
Crazy.
And there's 2 or 3 of them. Huge.
And one of Theo's next guests will go on to name these people. See, Cat Williams has made big predictions over the years that keep coming true. Like on Shannon Sharp's show in January 2024 when Cat Williams said this about Diddy.
All lies will be exposed. That's all.
He gave Theo an inside view, confirming that sexual compromise, political leverage, and institutional cover-ups are just how the game works. You can hear it land on Theo differently than the usual podcast banter.
I was as shocked as anybody about how powerful Harvey Weinstein was at the time that I was meeting with him. How he could not be told no. That he get whatever he wants. So I thought that didn't apply to me because I don't care about nothing but bitches and good business, right? Yeah. And then he offered me 2 actresses like they was playing cards. And I was like, what?
Kat has been talking about this kind of thing.
That's nuts. That's nuts. But dude, like, some of these actresses, sometimes, like, I'm assuming they, like, the people that make a lot of money, like Stevie Weinstein, they have control on some of these actresses, and because then all of a sudden they could say, "Oh, I'm just gonna ruin your life" or something. Whatever.
For
bro.
years, he was right about
Watch
Diddy,
the
and
video.
he was right
Oh
about
my god, dude.
Weinstein, which
Fuck.
he discussed with.
Yeah, fucking.
Was like, what?
Kat has been talking about this kind of thing for years. He was right about Diddy, and he was right, which he discussed with Theo Von. And Kat keeps going, talking about how Hollywood runs in patterns, a revolving door where conformity is enforced.
A ritual is something that you do over and over and over again a certain way. If part of the ritual is wearing a dress, then we should be able to look through entertainment and see all of these people being made to wear a dress. That's what a ritual is. Whether they're white or black, that doesn't matter. There's not other jobs where this is a requirement.
Theo Von then asks about the dark forces in Hollywood.
You know, I've heard you kind of allude to the fact that there's like kind of darker forces that kind of like present opportunities to people in trade-off, right? In trade for their own, maybe their own peace, maybe their own reality, maybe a sacrifice of the actual direction that they want. Do you think that really happens, that kind of stuff?
I think everything is controlled and regulated.
You think there's ever ways where we can get to the control room and see who's controlling, or you think that's all?
We're past that. We don't protect the whistleblower. We don't honor.
I don't think that it's one person doing it, it's multiple people. Like I would think, like it's multiple people. Like some people think like, I'm assuming that people think like there's one person behind it. Like who's behind it? Everybody wants to know like who's that one person controlling that has the most power, which I don't think just it can't be one person because I feel like one person just couldn't have enough power um out of how much powerful people there are. So it's just it's a group. It's a group, and I do wonder what group that is, and who's in that group. Kind of like you could say like the Illuminati. Like that makes more sense to me
The
than just one person being the most powerful and able to control everything. Like
scout that would tell us who it is. Matter of fact, when they get him, we're gonna go, I could have told you that was gonna happen. They're telling too much truth.
That description that they're telling too much truth is well documented. Think about everyone the industry has smothered or gagged, from Mel Gibson to Courtney Love and Rose McGowan.
You know, I had a whole bunch of weird paranoid suspicions about what the hell was going on because there was a lot of stuff I couldn't understand.
Right.
And I formed a bunch of opinions about the town and about the people in it that were like, surely that couldn't be. A whole place can't be like, Weird Town, where the stranger wanders in and all the people are in the bar and they all shut up when he looks at them and they tell you don't go into the house on the hill, and it's like that.
Throughout this
no, that would be strange because then you'd feel like you're in a movie with like you're in the movie when the movie's about like the weird town.
conversation, given that Kat has made himself pretty vulnerable, Theo was clearly thinking about whether any of his own stances are putting him at risk. Check out these next questions.
Did you start to worry any about your own safety and stuff? Because it seemed like you really had some moments where you're kind of, almost channeling truths into. Have you ever faced that in your own life where people try to come at you for offers like that? Do you think that like stars get offered that kind of thing, like to compromise themselves sexually for entertainment?
Again,
Oh, for sure, dude. And it's not just that, dude. Blackmail. I'm assuming blackmail is so big in Hollywood. Like they just get dirt on people, so then they make people do things for them. And actresses, I would think this is really big in actresses, that the rich people will throw roles at them and tell them that they'll make them a big star and stuff like that for favors. I'm assuming that also is pretty popular in the entertainment business, or movie business.
Things that we are discussing exist in each of the fields, not entertainment exclusively, politics, religion, science, everywhere. Right? Some of this is human nature.
But Kat isn't just diagnosing the problem and telling the truth. He's now building something sealed off from it because decentralizing away from Hollywood might be the only
What is this?
way forward. He bought
Comedian Cat Williams reportedly purchased McLennan's former for a movie studio. Don't know how to say the name. Former Fort Barracks in Anniston, Alabama, to develop a movie studio. That's
Fort McClellan, a former military base in Alabama, 3 million square feet across 90 acres to be his own studio.
I just needed to be able to have a home where great movies and entertainment product could be made without any of the shenanigans that are generally involved with Hollywood, that all it needs to do is be good. If it's good, we're gonna make it.
Okay, but Jim's
Well, why did he buy a base? That's like, I don't know. Probably because he thought it was cool. Like,
mid-tier comedian and Kat's a self-described outsider. You could dismiss them if you wanted to, but Ben Affleck is a AAA actor at the epicenter of where this all goes down. And his longest interview of 2025, not 60 Minutes, not the New York Times, it was Theo Von, who hadn't even seen the movie Affleck was there to promote. You can hear the moment it dawns on Affleck that he can actually speak up in this podcast, especially since the media had been blasting him for being contrived and shut off.
So wait, so who is the accountant? You can't
The
tell
accountant?
us.
No, it's me, right? I'm this guy's accountant, and he kind of was,
Oh, wait, I've
trained
seen
us.
this movie.
You've seen the first movie, right? This is the second one. You saw the first one, me and John, came out like 8 years ago.
Because Theo accidentally ripped away the PR scaffolding and prepared talking points, Affleck opened up and what he had to say was a huge surprise.
Like the currency of like fame in and of itself as a desirable thing. Like people go, man, I want to be rich and famous. Like, take rich.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Famous is not gonna make you happy. I think a lot of times what happens is if it doesn't come with a real sense of like achievement or accomplishment, it actually feels hollow and empty. And
yeah, well, fame. Well, I'd agree with that. Like, you'd want to become rich more than famous. I feel like everybody, most people. Okay, I'll say most people would want to become rich rather than famous. Obviously, like, because when you're famous, everything's monitored. Basically, you got cameras around you every second. Like, that wouldn't be great. You can't just go to a park. You can't just do things that you want to do, because you would just be hounded by people. So, like Michael Jackson, he couldn't go to a grocery store. So, I think one of the grocery store owners shut down the grocery store and added people in the grocery store, and it was all closed. No regular people could go into the grocery store, and he would just shop around like it was a regular day because he wanted to feel what it was like to shop in a grocery store. Like, that's crazy.
like bullshit and undeserved. There's things I don't love about.
But Michael Jackson also is like the top 3 most famous people in the world. Like, he's
This business, a lot of them, it can make you kind of crazy.
Then he
That's also wait. That's also why they're making that Michael Jackson movie. They did which is cool. I'd be happy if when that comes out, but they also made a Michael Jackson TikTok account who whatever company is in control with that pop up, bro. Whatever company is in control of Michael Jackson's brand and stuff, they recently made a TikTok, which I'd say probably because of the movie, but not too sure. Maybe even after the movie, they keep on posting, which I would say, in my opinion, is a little weird, but yeah, if they do keep on posting after the movie is released and stuff.
Spears into it as a case study, a real example of how the celebrity destruction machine works in practice. Follow somebody, antagonize them, and then sell the footage of them falling apart.
The idea is like follow somebody around.
Yeah, dude,
and
Britney Spears is a good example, dude. She was not having it. she reached her breaking point, and that's super sad. Almost feels like she was like tortured, um, with the fame.
Agonize them,
Right.
and then hopefully they'll have like a nervous breakdown and go crazy on you, and then your video will be worth more money.
Yeah, it's
I really had a lot of empathy for Britney Spears because I remember that it seemed like the cycle of having people harangue you and yell at you and hassle you and follow you, it kind of seemed like that itself was kind of whipping up the whole thing into a tizzy. So that's the first time I thought this is kind of a weird kind of unintentional, I think, culturally, but kind of collective cruelty where what's taken out of the image that you see are the people around,
Right.
waving the stick at the tiger or poking on it or whatever. And all you see is the growling animal or whatever it is.
Many prolific public meltdowns make sense through that lens. The media shows you someone unraveling but crops out the people poking them with sticks to force it to happen. Because, well, obviously that's the drama that sells stories. He pushes on, discussing what lies behind Hollywood's glamorous veneer with a pretty beautiful metaphor.
because the acting in the creation, it's like looking at the beauty of a lake, right? It's like, this is picturesque, and this is like how they meant the waves to look, and there's a current here, and there's an inflow and outflow, but then it's all this stuff under it, and it's almost starting to like kind of drain its own lake in
It's
a way.
a good metaphor, yeah. Like if you overtax it, it lowers the lake, and all of a sudden it doesn't look like a beautiful lake. It starts to look like the low country marsh, and it pulls down. You start to see all the
you
little
can
black
see
mud
all the
around the
stuff.
edges and the muck. And
That's a man at the very top of the industry describing Hollywood as basically a swamp, and he admits that being exposed to it takes its toll on anyone.
you know what I
Oh,
mean?
yeah, dude, I'm always trapped inside of myself. I have a crowd inside of me right now.
There's a crowd in my head
Yeah,
is busy
dude,
enough.
I got
Right?
30 people in here, and we're out of hors d'oeuvres.
From Batman to the Joker, Joaquin Phoenix is one of the most media-hostile actors alive. He barely does interviews, so the fact that he even showed up on Theo's show in July 2025 is already a
Oh wow,
statement.
that's cool. Yeah, I've actually never seen a clip or like a video of him doing interviews. Yeah.
The top comment even says it. I don't know if people understand how incredibly rare it is to get Joaquin
Yeah, no,
Phoenix
that's
to do
really
an
cool.
interview, let alone an hour-long interview. This is phenomenal. But what makes this extraordinary is why he came. He came because of something Theo said. Theo had spoken publicly about the war in Gaza and it scared him. He admitted as much when Phoenix asked. In fact, as you might already know, this is a big reason why Von's paranoia has intensified lately. He's also alluded to Charlie Kirk's assassination multiple times, suggesting that certain agendas are worth more than human life.
When you
Oh
did
yeah,
that,
dude. Charlie Kirk obviously said something or did something that pissed off the higher ups. Like I think, I'm into that conspiracy. Yeah. Like
you were like, if that made you nervous doing it, or
Yeah, I think I felt scared.
yeah, well, it was courageous and it was meaningful, and I think it matters. And straight up, I'm really here today because I was so moved by what you said, and just like the courage to do that.
One of the most decorated actors of his generation sat down with a comedian because the comedian did something most won't do. He spoke without permission.
It's shocking, like how maybe we're afraid to talk about it, and oftentimes you're made to feel like you're stupid because you don't understand geopolitics. You kind of go like, well, I don't have to understand geopolitics. Like, you just have to understand like human rights.
I'm grateful to be able to be in a place today and in a country where we can still say something, and it's not mandated by some other power, and who knows if that's coming soon or what's happening.
So at some point though, you have to ask how Theo Von even landed himself in all of these conversations in the first place, as the list is incredibly prestigious for someone who hasn't been in the podcast game that long. He's talked to Donald Trump, Bernie Sanders, RFK Jr., JD Vance. These aren't normal comedy guests anymore, but people who want to get in front of the non-legacy media. And there's been some candid moments, like when Theo told Vance to outright release the Epstein list, which came back to bite him later on when nothing changed. Now compare Theo to someone like Rogan. Rogan's been doing this for over a decade.
yeah,
He's
no,
got-
that the Epstein list is absolutely nuts. That it just feels like nothing's really gonna happen. Like that is just crazy because this is one of isn't it one of the biggest like sex trafficking operations, like, and nobody's gotten arrested yet. Bill Clinton's on trial. Who even knows if he's gonna go to jail? And the only one is basically Epstein's girlfriend in jail. And I think like she's in like a good jail. Like one of like the rich jails that like rich people go to, but I'm not 100% certain on that. So I did do some research on where Epstein's girlfriend went to, and she went to a federal prison camp in Bryan, Texas. And if you don't know what a federal prison camp is, it's basically a really lenient prison, and it basically rehabilitates people into like getting back into the real world. Like you can get education, it helps you find a lot of decent jobs. Like you can get educated when you go to these federal prison camps. It just basically is a rehabilitation mainly, but it's technically a prison.
Team and experience on when to push back, and Theo doesn't have any of that. Someone had casually handed Theo a phone while he was messing around. A woman said her friend had been deported and asked if he had anything to say. Theo then just said bye as a joke. And so the Department of Homeland Security used that clip in an official
Yeah, I remember this video, dude. They used it. I think I heard something about that.
Hype video, framing it like an endorsement.
And I was like,
Yeah.
I'm clowning around. I have no idea if it's real or not. I have no idea.
You have no idea. It's literally someone just handed you a phone, and then Homeland Security, was that what it was?
Yeah, just put it up online. Then I was like super scared.
Theo Von had to hire an attorney to get it taken down, and it took 48 hours, by which point the damage was done, and most people never even found out it was removed.
Yeah,
I
didn't even know it was removed. Wow, dude. That's fucked up.
Vastly fueled his ongoing existential crisis.
I feel like all of these balls of yarn that used to feel like they made so much sense, and they kept us warm and they gave us senses of purpose, I feel like all of them are becoming unraveled. But it makes me wonder what's going to happen now, because these are a lot of things that have felt like some of the blueprints of our existence.
That tells us a lot. The unraveling of the stories and narratives that once protected people. And carrying all of that on his shoulders, he sits down with one person who can explain why all of it connects. Robert Greene is the guy who wrote The 48 Laws of Power, a book so effective at explaining how manipulation works that it's been banned in multiple
there's I've seen this book. I think some of the things that he says in this book, never read it, but I've seen pages of the book, and yeah, I would say it looks to me like a good book, but like some of the things he says, like basically there's one quote in here where like it kind of goes like this. It said that like don't get attached to people and stuff like that, which is automatically a good thing, but then you won't have any real friend relationships or like anything real. Like that just seems so stupid to me. Like if you have a friend, you don't know when you're gonna pass away, or that friend's gonna pass away, or your family member that's gonna pass away. Like you should get attached and want to do things with them while you're having or living life. Like that's what life's about. Having good relationships, having people that around you that make you feel at home. So there are some things that I do disagree in this book. But yeah.
Greene kicked off with a critique of Hollywood. He'd been inside the beast coming from LA himself, with the industry trying to make movies out of his own books, and what he found within the industry disgusted him.
and what angered me about Hollywood. You know, people pretending to be these liberal, wonderful people in favor of all the best causes out there to create art. What bullshit. They wanted power. They loved having the power over people. Producers and directors loved the power they had over actresses, etc., etc.
Strip away the award shows, the charity galas, the social justice statements, and what's left is people who love having power over other people. Theo then tells him a story of walking through Century City Mall, bumping into a construction worker who says they're building a 20-story building, half for a talent agency and half for the CIA. He said exactly the same thing to Joe Rogan. And Robert Greene knows what's up, but he doesn't laugh it off.
And he's like, dude, guess what we're building? I'm like, I don't know. You know, I thought maybe it could have been like a Hardee's or something. He's like, we're building like a 20-story building, and 10 floors of it are the CIA, and the other 10 floors are a Hollywood management company.
Theo was actually mixing up the CIA and CAA, Creative Artists Agency, but the mix-up is almost funnier than any deliberate joke because of how close it lands to the truth.
I was with CAA when they were trying to make movies out of my books. And you go to that building and they call it like the Death Star. There are like, you know, politicians who are being represented by CAA, athletes, tech bros, influencers. It's pretty frightening though when you go inside. It's like all these people, everyone's like wearing a suit. It's almost like Scientology. Hollywood's version of Scientology.
Greene doesn't stop at Hollywood. He draws the line that connects.
Yeah, the power these big corporations have. Also, what I think is crazy is how some of these big and famous people, like Elon Musk, for example, how he helped Trump win, and Elon Musk like threw a bunch of money at him, and obviously what is I would say worse, because like I think right now Trump and Elon, they don't like each other, yada yada, but like that these rich people can throw money at politicians and then politicians owe them back in some way, and that's just nuts. Like how some rich guy can just help someone win an election, and then they're obviously going to get something in return. Like, that's just crazy to me.
Entertainment and technology to politics, all of it's running on the same operating system, and he names names.
But the technology people, they've read all of the books on marketing, on psychology. You know, Mark Zuckerberg, they figured the whole thing out.
Yeah.
They know how to move us around like little puppets on a string.
Oh yeah,
being
dude.
Inside the
Think
belly.
of and the information that Mark Zuckerberg gets on his social media apps, it's nuts. He knows how the average person thinks. Like, and that's
Of the beast, so to speak.
information you need to market and do good in the business, which it's good, but it also is like kind of creepy, you know.
It's really all about money. I mean, there's so much money involved and at stake. That's really the motor that drives everything in Hollywood. You know, people may pretend it's about creating art or supporting this cause or that cause. But when you bring it all down, it's about making money. You know, they would drop the woke stuff tomorrow if they could make more money doing something else. It's just about what's going to bring the bucks in.
To tune their profit extraction machine, people in tech have figured out how to apply Hollywood's playbook. The seduction, the dependency, the manufactured desire at a scale unimaginable a generation ago. For Theo sitting across from Greene, this is the moment where all the individual stories he's been absorbing start to click into something much bigger. And he gets an opportunity to talk to the very powerful figures Greene names as the puppet masters who have us all on a string. Speaking of which, Mark Zuckerberg himself went on Theo's show in April 2025. Filmed at the Meta campus in Silicon Valley, it was widely seen as a PR rehabilitation.
And the change from his look from back then to now, he does look better. I will say, like it's not a bad look, but now it just feels like he's trying to be like a 20-year-old and like be like a regular person. Like I would say like it is kind of like, in my opinion, it's a little weird.
An attempt, and it's one of the strangest pieces of media produced this decade. As Theo asks him what should be a soft opener, Zuckerberg's answer manages to be both self-deprecating and accidentally revealing.
Have you ever felt socially awkward over your years?
No, I'm really smooth. no, obviously. Yes. Yeah, I'm like the most awkward person. People have been calling me a robot online for 20 years. It does wonders for my confidence.
Or that he's a lizard.
Credit where it's due, the guy can take a joke, but Theo has always pushed one step further.
You seem like a guy who probably like watched a video of how to be a guy on YouTube or something, you know, but I think
haven't found those environments yet, but maybe.
And then it got genuinely revealing. Theo mentions offhand that he'd build an underground tunnel if he were a billionaire. Zuckerberg confirmed he has one, like he was talking about a garden shed.
I would have an underground tunnel, even that it came right back up next to where it started.
I do have an underground tunnel.
USA?
Well, I have this ranch in Kauai.
He tried to walk it back immediately, but that ship had sailed.
Zucky got that bunky.
That became one of the biggest viral moments of the year. The man who built the platform that connects 3 billion people is building himself a hideout somewhere underground.
You drink coffee, man, or no?
Nah.
It used to be kind of that somebody
Yeah,
who was...
dude, but that's what I was talking about. Like, I don't know what he means by tunnel. Like, if it's like a tunnel or more like a bunker. But it is, I will say, like, it is kind of crazy how many billionaires are building bunkers. But it's like, also like what I said, why wouldn't you build a bunker or an underground building or something, or base, if you're a billionaire? Like, why wouldn't you do that just in case?
It's like really straight edge and sober that was a nerdy thing, I think. Now that's almost the most insane thing you can do. Wait, you're under the influence of nothing.
Nothing.
From sun up to sundown, you're a fucking animal, you know?
There's something almost clinical about that level of control in a person who controls the information diet of half the planet. And then we get to the end point of this whole progression, and it had to be one of the most unsettling things Theo's ever sat through. I'm talking about Sam Altman, CEO of OpenAI. Honestly, putting him next to Zuckerberg...
I don't like that guy. I'm just gonna say it. Like, dude.
shows how similar they really are. He said this about his 4-month-old son.
My kid will never ever be smarter than an AI. That will never happen. They'll never know a world where like products and services aren't.
Yeah, but that AI won't ever fucking feel emotion. So
aren't way smarter than them and super capable.
The man building the AI is saying matter-of-factly that his own child will never be a building. He's not upset, he's not wrestling with it, he's stating it bluntly like it's a weather forecast. Then he compared what he's doing to the most famous what have we done moment in human history, and he chose the comparison himself, nobody prompted it.
You know, there are these moments in the history of science where you have a group of scientists look at their creation and just say, you know, what have we done? Maybe the most iconic example is thinking about the scientists working on the Manhattan Project in 1945, sitting there watching the Trinity test, and just, it was a completely new, not human scale kind of power, and everyone knew it was going to reshape the world. I do think people working on AI have that feeling in a very deep way.
He used the atomic bomb as his analogy, and then he moved on, like he didn't fully register what he just implied about his own work. Theo, to his credit,
the AI is gonna destroy the world. It's gonna be like a fucking bomb. Agree. I do agree that AI will, and it's making more people lonely. It's making more people stay in a bubble. Also, some people are picking AI girlfriends over their actual relationships. Like what? Like that's crazy. Because AI won't disagree with you. So some people like AI better than humans, which that's the good quality about humans, is that they disagree with each other. Imagine if we only agreed with each other. Oh my gosh.
Reddit kept
That'd be
pushing with
nuts.
simple, honest questions, and Altman
A
kept
world
answering in
like
ways that
that?
was somehow simultaneously reassuring, terrifying, and out of touch.
I was testing our new model. I got emailed a question that I didn't quite understand, and I put it in the model, this GPT-5, and it answered it perfectly. And I really kind of sat back in my chair, and I was just like, oh man, here it is moment. I felt like useless relative.
Yeah, but AI is just gonna make us stop using our brain. Just gonna dumb down humans, dude. Like, it's not good. If you think about it, not good. There are some. I feel like some questions, possibly we might need AI to answer them, but like, I don't know, dude. But is it worth what AI is technically doing? Also, it is also taking people's jobs.
As one now?
Zucky has a bunkie. I know that somewhere out in Hawaii. Do you have a bunker?
I have like underground concrete heavy reinforced basements, but I don't have anything I would call a bunker.
Hold on, dude. I am going to call that out as a dang bunker, dude. Sam, that's a bunker.
Theo honestly captured
Yeah.
the whole dynamic in
But
2 sentences.
I have reinforced basements around the world.
Sentences that no
It's not a
journalist
bunker.
would ever
It's not a
think to phrase this way.
I promise.
You're this charming kind of Terminator. You're like, come with me through the universe. And you're like, people are like, well, what's it like? And you're like, I don't know exactly, but, and then it's like we're all going.
And Altman's response was maybe
and also, dude, the government has they've gave so much money to this dude, like to this guy's company, OpenAI. That is nuts. How much did they get? Here also. I'll see. So the government has paid OpenAI or gave OpenAI $1.9 billion, which is significantly less than Israel. But dude, that's a lot of money. It's a lot of guap from the government
the
on
most
that one.
honest thing any tech CEO has said publicly. No spin, no reassurance.
When I was a kid, I assumed that there were always some adults in the room. Someone had a plan, but no one has all the answers. No one knows where it's all going to go. I'm the guy in the room, and I have some guesses, and I have some plans, and we're working really hard.
The man supposedly building superintelligence is merely stumbling through it, with a bunker, and a baby who will never be smarter than what dad's building. So bring it back to the beginning.
It feels like some people in the world,
Dude, I feel like he's like just trying to hit on him also, but like the baby, he keeps on bringing it up.
Dark and powerful people know what's going on and they're not telling the rest of us.
Is Theo paranoid, or has he just been paying attention? He started podcasting because he never had a voice. He found one. Then he heard from the horse's mouth what most people only read about secondhand.
But yeah, that was scary, man. Because then I got because there was just like a lot of threats, and then things got then it was just kind of that made me kind of paranoid.
And the uncomfortable part is everything that's eating Theo alive, the paranoia, the sleeplessness, the feeling that the blueprints are unraveling, that didn't come from conspiracy forums or Reddit threads. We can all empathize with that, especially when so-called conspiracies from Weinstein to Epstein keep revealing themselves layer by layer, without ever amounting to the entire truth, and that's probably how it'll always stay. It came from the people themselves, sitting across from him on camera, saying it out loud for him and everyone else to see.
Yet, that is crazy. No, this is a good vid. I like it. I liked it. Let's see some of the comments. Yeah, never say you're suicidal. Yeah, dude. Once you say that, it is like that's why Kurt Cobain's death is such a conspiracy to me because I think he got murdered. That's my opinion. And yeah. Cheers. Okay, yeah. Okay, well, thank you guys for watching and see you guys later.